Good afternoon, family and friends. We're gathered here today to celebrate the remarkable life of Robert Pegus. A beloved husband, a father, a grandfather, a teacher, a mentor, and a friend for so many. I'm Ben, and you'll be hearing some more words from me a bit later. Firstly, on behalf of our family, we invite you all here to the Country Club to celebrate my father's life. You'll hear from many voices today, people whose lives he touched and transformed. Each speaker will have their unique experience with my dad, helping us celebrate the different facets of his life and his legacy. Throughout the ceremony, feel free to laugh, cry, and remember. These are all expressions of affection we hold to my dad. I now call my sister Alison to say a few words.
Thank you and welcome everyone. As you heard, I'm Robin's daughter, known as Ali. Rob was born in 1937 to Pauline, née Rundle, and Sydney Pegus. He was the third of 4 children, 2 sisters, Josephine and Jill, and 1 brother, Benny. Dad grew up in the country and he always loved the land. He loved music, he loved art, he loved education, he loved service, he loved politics. Whatever he did, he loved. He passed away on November 30th, 2024, after several years of suffering and decline with Parkinson's. Those of us who were close to him have said our farewells. It's not what we're doing today, though. Today is not about mourning him. It's about remembering and acknowledging him and his life. His mother, Judy, was a practical, artistical and musical person. She lovingly told the story of finding an exceptionally well-made plasticine model of a piglet on the floor. Robin, the 3-year-old, was the only child there. She asked him who made the pig, and he said, "I did it." He always loved models of animals too. You can see a couple at the door. Judy was proud of the fact that her boy Robin was talented. She fostered his learning, his creativity and music throughout his childhood and then on into adulthood. He played the saxophone in the Pegus Orchestra with his mother Judy on the piano for many years later to come. And it was a very significant relationship in his life. His love of everything rural remained with him. He told the story of the most exciting time of the year as a child was when the men brought the stock down from the highlands at the end of summer. He described how the kids waited, hanging on the stockyard rails in the dark for hours until they could hear the animals' feet rumbling in the distance, followed by their mooing. Then the sounds of men's voices and the odd crack of a whip and a dog bark as they emerged from the black in a full onslaught of man and beast, exhilarating children. Life was simple. He loved the man from Snowy River and could still remember much of it even as his memory was diminishing. He went to Burnie High School where he was an active thespian, then on to university in Hobart. During his time studying an MBA, majoring in geography and political science, he was also called to do national service in the army. He remembered this time very fondly. He excelled at rifle shooting, all that practice on the farm, and he made the Tasmanian University rifle team. Dad continued to be involved in the army in cadets, and as Captain Pegus, he ran the cadets at Ulverston and Clarence High School until, in fact, the department stopped having cadets in schools, which he didn't approve of. The getting rid of them, that is. During these early years, he met Mum, Cloris Sharman. Some of you in the room know that she was engaged elsewhere. Oh, not too many of you. But that didn't stop Dad with his motorbike and his saxophone and his charm. I was going to say balls. Past students, now in their 70s, still recount Mr. Pegus popping down to talk to Miss Sharman during break times. Mum and Dad were married in January 1960, a short time after they met. They were immediately transferred to Hobart, where Dad took up a teaching position at Elizabeth Street Modern. In Hobart in that same year I was born, followed by Meredith in 1962 and Jane in 1964. They were busy. Dad lost his beloved brother Benny in a forest accident in 1961. The next move for the family was to Queenstown for 2 years, followed by his first promotion as Senior Master of Social Studies at Olveston High School in 1966. He was reunited with Judy and the band once again. He was also a very active member of the local Lions Club community, and he was consistent in maintaining his interests in service. Dad was often the impersonator, entertainer, Santa Claus, Rolf Harris, complete with the paintings and the wallboards. On one occasion, he was Santa at the annual Lions Club picnic. And as we three girls joined the throng of kids running to greet the man in the red suit with the big voice and the bell, Meredith had an epiphany. She turned tail and ran back the opposite way, saying, "That's not Santa, that's Dad!" We all got used to our Dad being the man. Later in the early 1990s, as one of a team of two, he addressed the International Lions Convention, which was held in Perth that year, on an issue close to his heart and his politics: equity. His convincing oratory led to a unanimous vote. Wait for it. Girls should be eligible to apply for the Lions Youth of the Year award. I mean, I kind of think he was stuck in a hard place. He either had to do that or accept a society that said his first three born were duds. Ben was born in 1973. A bit of a surprise, but a welcome one. Dad was appointed to the position of Vice Principal at Clarence High School in Hobart in 1974. The move came at the last minute, and all of us remember the long trek to Hobart as a journey into the unknown. Mum had about 2 days to find care for Ben. Our furniture hadn't arrived, and we all had to start school ASAP, including Mum. Dad never seemed fazed by working with an element of the unknown, and the rest of us just had to get used to it. Well, we got used to it to a certain extent, especially his timekeeping. Family members here, I am sure, will all have a waiting for Godot, waiting for Dad, oh no, waiting for Grandad story to tell later. After 3 years at Clarence, Dad was appointed once again to what was to be renamed at his initiation the Sheffield School as a district high school. Jane was in that class in Year 7. Ben started there in kinder. Mum went to Railton Primary at the beginning of her many years there. He bought his own little farm at Forth and established the Petermond Paul Hereford Stud on his 20 acres next to the bridge over the road from the pub he did in the chalk picture that's over here. He still loved the sound of cattle in the distance. From these trips to and from Forth, pie wrappers became a feature of the floor in his old ute, which we always called a truck, along with the ever-present piece of twine. Often twine could be seen protruding from his pocket, at times even a suit pocket, and there would have been a pocket knife in there as well. Throughout the 1980s and 90s, he was Vice President of the Teachers' Federation, and he prided himself on being the voice that was the middle ground between those who saw it solely as an industrial body and those who valued the status and the quality of the profession. He worked for 15 years as the chair of the Appeals Committee overseeing equity and fairness in the promotions process. In 1992, during a teachers' strike, Dad addressed the crowd first and stole the show. Later that night, out to dinner with some friends and friends of friends, some of them journalists who had covered the rally that day. One journo, new to Hobart, asked, "Who is that guy who spoke first? He was brilliant. That was Robin Pegus. He's my father. He was made a lifetime member of the Teachers' Federation. When did Dad move on to more serious farming? He bought the 120-acre property at Kimberley called Ashley in 1981. Mum and Dad and Ben lived there for 20 years. He had a short stint with poppies and continued the Pole Hereford stuff. He led the local land care group and was a member of countless groups associated with farming and animals. All the while, when called upon, he made the props and backdrops for Mum's many events at schools and clubs and sporting events. He retired from Sheffield School in 1991 and moved on to working with the Devonport Show, establishing a small alternative farming display, innovative as always. And guess what? He continued to play in Dad's bands, and I know many of you in the room, including Michael, will have danced to his tunes over the years. He was a master of the 3/4 tum. Post his career in education, Dad had other jobs, overseeing the picking and movement of crops at All's Edges to become Simplot, and then, as a little bit famous, bus driver. He picked up and delivered many children of students that he had once taught, and he delivered them to schools that were run by teachers and principals that he had also helped on their professional journeys. He had a notoriously well-behaved bus cohort. They sold the Kimberley farm in 1998, and Mum and Dad moved to the Don, Cuts Road, where he was able to indulge his love of drawing and his love of veggie producing. The milk churn at the gate of that property still bears his script saying Pegus 320, much to Mum's chagrin. 10 grandchildren later, and much quieter in his senior years mostly. He didn't play Santa anymore, preferring to read whatever book he'd been given that Christmas. He did enjoy it though, when one or two of the grandchildren would come and stay for the holidays. He loved taking them on things where he made them wait as well, as I recall. If pressed to answer the question of religion, Dad would probably have called himself agnostic, but he would have expressed it as Calathumpian. As a child, I asked him if he believed in God, and he said, "Doesn't matter what I think, make up your own mind." As a 16-year-old, I went with Dad to see the premiere of The Life of Brian in Devonport. And we sat behind a family of ex-neighbours from Ulverston who we knew to be devout Baptists. We wondered what they would make of it. They walked out early. We were free to laugh after that. He spent many years in service to community, to the profession, and we, the kids, understood that a thinking humanist was the most important ideology to believe in and type of person to be. His final years at home were spent at Mindetta, where he and Mum still did 2 crosswords every day. And Dad did the Sudoku until he couldn't. One of his last requests in his final months of life were for his old university atlas, consistent to the end. There are many chapters and themes in Dad's life, and today we are really scratching the surface in memory of him and his life. Suffice to say, finishing, we are poorer now he's gone, for sure, but we are richer because he was here. Thank you.
I am also Robin's daughter, Jane. Dad's older sister, Josephine, sent us a collection of memories from her childhood, which she would like us to share. Interestingly, my cold is causing me to sound more like our Aunt Josephine than usual. I'm mostly reading her card because in her words she catches a Robin that I didn't know, but also nicely reflects a family experience that has mostly been lost to time. Strangers in Hampshire asked Robin, 3 years old, "Where does that road go?" Pointing, Robin said, "Up there." Mum read us stories like Robinson Crusoe, Tom Sawyer, and the Great Grain Green Greasy Limpopo River. We played board games, which that clever little fellow Robin invariably won, in our warm kitchen with both the fire and the stove burning. Robin loved toasting crumpets, and we made ice cream snow using vanilla cream and sugar. When Robin was old enough, he literally flew through the grades. We had a one-room school where we received a thorough education and were well disciplined. We often cared for a possum.
Mull of Kintyre, oh, mist rolling in from the sea. My desire is always to be on Mull of Kintyre. Far have I travelled, and much have I seen. Dark distant mountains with valleys of green, past painted deserts, the sun sets on fire as he carries me home to the Mull of Kintyre. Mull of Kintyre, oh, mist rolling in from the sea. My desire is always to be here, oh, Mull of Kintyre. Sweep through the heather like deer in the glen. Carry me back to the days I knew then. Nights when we sang like a heavenly choir of the life and the times of the Mull of Kintyre. Mull of Kintyre, oh, mist rolling in from the sea. My desire is always to be here, oh, Mull of Kintyre. Smiles in the sunshine and tears in the rain still take me back where my memories remain. Flickering embers grow higher and high as they carry me back to the Mull of Kintyre. Mull of Kintyre.
that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Ooh, someday you wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, and the dream that you did to, oh why can't I? Well, I see trees of green and red roses too. I'll watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, I see skies of blue and I see clouds of white and the brightness of day. I like the dark and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like a lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. And the dream that you did